Behold, my magical, mystical ninja powers! Hoo, 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 hoo. Okay. I'm just gonna file that away in the things that I will never do on the internet ever again. So, I apologize for those that had to witness that, but, yeah. So, here's the thing. Ninjutsu! It's a thing that exists in One Piece. Not through devil fruit powers or anything. Well, I mean, it's One Piece. There probably might be a ninja fruit somewhere at some point. But no, just the act of, like, ninjutsu, like substitution techniques, you know, clone techniques. That's a thing that exists. It's kind of in the same category as, like, Fishman Karate. Just has the ability to, like, you know, allowing fishmen and merfolk to, like, manipulate water. You know, the new Kama Kempo that Ivankov developed somehow gives him the ability to, you know, create cannon blasts with just his winks. You know, calling them hand-to-hand techniques are not really accurate when they give you that sort of ability, right? At least with the fishmen, it makes sense because they live their whole lives underwater, and so it's like, all right, they can, like, use their, you know, enhanced strength to, like, bend the ocean currents to their will to, like, blast it at their opponent. I'm like, all right, that makes sense. Ivankov is Ivankov, so, yeah, you know, he has the ability to wink and then shoot a cannon blast out of his eyes. Yeah, that makes sense. It's Ivankov. But, ninjutsu, yeah, that's one of the things, because, I mean, like, I always assumed it was stated, at least somewhere in the manga, that Raizo, had a devil fruit power. It's really one of those Mandela effect kind of moments where I went on the wiki page and I was looking at it and I'm like, no, nowhere was it ever stated in the story that Raizo ever had a devil fruit. It was never even implied that he had a devil fruit or anything like that. He was always just called, you know, Raizo of the Mist, Raizo the Ninja. You know, he used to be a member of the former Oniwabanshu, because it seems like every shogun has their own elite, you know, ninjas to, you know, act as their bodyguards. So right now we have the Orochi Oniwabanshu, led by Fuku Rokuju, which, that's just a fun name to say. Fuku Rokuju! You got Hanzo in there, Fujin and Raijin, Daikoku is in there. We don't know all of their names. They're based off of the 7 lucky gods of Japan. The Shichi Fukujin, I think, is the way you would say that. Yes. So I wrote it down, but I just wanted to see if I could remember it for this. I'm like, yes, Japanese. I'm learning more every day. But yeah, so I might make a separate video once we learn more about the Oniwabanshu so far, because there's plenty of them that we just don't know their names or anything that they're really about. You could see very clearly the designs are taken directly from the 7 lucky gods. There's one of them that's a woman. We don't know her name yet, but she's playing a biwa, you know, and that's definitely referencing one of the gods directly. You know, the boss of the deities, Fuku Rokuju, that's also like a figure with a giant forehead, and we see him in One Piece rocking some awesome shades. So yeah, that's something else. But those are ninja under Orochi. There was the Kozuki Oniwabanshu that worked under the former shogun, Sukiyaki, and they would have worked under Odin if everything would have worked out the way it should have been, and he should have been, you know, shogun and everything like that. It would have continued on. You know, and Raizo was part of that select group, okay? So, ninjutsu, even if you want to say Raizo has a devil fruit, which he doesn't, but even if you want to say, like, he had some sort of, like, ninja fruit, there's still a bunch of ninja in Wano. We see Shinobu and the Oniwabanshu. There's probably a lot of other ninja and kunoichi out there. We saw that random male Shinobu, you know, because he looks pretty much exactly like Shinobu, just with a different colored outfit and with a mustache. So you're looking at that and like, okay, is that like Shinobu's long-lost brother or something? I don't know. Is that just how all ninjas dress when they're over a certain age in Wano? I don't know. So there's other ninjas that exist, all right? So today we're going to be talking about ninjutsu, okay, and how this goes. We can at least defer that there's like things that ninjutsu, at least in the realms of the way it's taught in Wano, doesn't include. Because we had the Oniwabanshu at the banquet that were scared by Brook. You know, they were terrified by Brook's existence. So you'd figure, like, if it was in the realms of ninjutsu to, like, transform your body at will into whatever you wanted, sort of like in Naruto, then they wouldn't be maybe as freaked out by that as they were. I mean, they were looking at Brook like he was, like, some sort of, like, actual demon that came back from the depths of hell, which technically is kind of true. He did come back from the dead, and he does harness the powers of the underworld for his own devices. that is kind of true, right? So anyway, no, it seems like ninjutsu is more of just like a skill that you learn and train in, and it just allows you to basically do like the basic ninjutsu stuff in Naruto. You know, like before in Naruto, when we were summoning, you know, freaking giant-tailed beasts and blasting freaking Bijudamas into mountains and just leveling entire countries. Before that was a thing, you know, we had like just what they were teaching at the Ninja Academy in Konoha. It was like simple stuff. It was just like, here's a clone technique. It's not a shadow clone technique, just a regular clone technique to make after images of you. We saw Raizo do that during Zou. Also, we saw him do the basic substitution technique, which allows him to turn into a log or grab any nearby object to be like, oh, I'm attacked. No, I'm not. I was, you know, just over here. It was actually a log that you attacked the whole time. Flower shuriken. We don't really know. I guess this, okay, all of this kind of falls under the purview of ninjutsu. It's just that if you've ever read Naruto or Boruto, I guess, you just think of ninjutsu as more like magic power, right? You think of like, oh, I could spit fire, and I could summon giant sharks, and normal-sized sharks, and I could fly, you know? You think of all that crazy stuff, and I have magical eye powers, right? But no, in the context of One Piece, it's like anything precluding the art of the ninja. So it's not all about, like, making clones of yourself, or substituting yourself for a log. It could just involve, like, you know, I guess the technical term for it would be like shuriken jutsu, you know, just learning how to throw shuriken in a particular way. And that's what Raizo did at Zou, where he was displaying his like flower shuriken, like throwing the shuriken against the wall and making like different like kanji out of it. You know, he's just really freaking precise and accurate when it comes to throwing shuriken. Same thing with other ninja tools like a kusarigama, or, you know, we saw a lot of the Oniwabanshu under Orochi carrying katanas around. We get to Fujin and Raijin, who are apparently, like, you know, representing the gods of lightning and wind, respectively. You know, Raijin, god of lightning, Fujin, god of wind, and they're riding around on catfish, just giant catfish. I'm like, all right, it's Wano, just roll with it. So I would like to think that just because of their namesakes, we don't really get to see everything that they could do yet, but I would like to think because of their namesakes, they would at least have the abilities of electricity and wind, respectively. Not going to be on the same level as in Naruto, not going to be on the same level of, like, Fujin whipping out like wind release giant Rasen shuriken, you know, nothing like that, but just like, I will use my ninjutsu powers to summon the wind. You know, it's somewhere in between the two, somewhere in between, you know, 6-year-old you mimicking Naruto and Naruto actually whipping a planet-sized Rasen shuriken at freaking Madara, whatever. Somewhere in between those two, he's gonna create some sort of wind technique. And the same thing with Raijin, creating some sort of electrical technique, right? Let's see here. We also have the lady that was like the flower lady, so maybe she had like little flowers in her hair. Maybe she can manipulate nature in some way. Not on the level of like Hashirama or anything, but something. Because, gotta keep in mind also, Oda and Kishimoto being the mangaka of Naruto, I mean, they're pretty good friends, and they were rivals for quite some time there with their series, you know. And that you could see that whenever Naruto ended, you know, Oda drew like a chapter with like Luffy and Naruto hanging out, eating ramen together. And at the very end of Naruto, in the last chapter of that in Shonen Jump, you had Boruto drawing the Straw Hat's Jolly Roger on the Hokage monument. So it's just like, okay, it's like a tongue-in-cheek sort of deal. Like they're friends in real life. So I could see Oda wanting to include ninjas, and he's like, okay, we're going to Wano Kuni. I've set this up for a while. There's gonna be samurai, there's gonna be crazy beasts wandering around straight out of Momotaro, there's gonna be Onis to fight, there's gonna be a bunch of different references to the yokai, why not, and a bunch of references to the Edo period, you know, under the freaking, the shogunate and everything like that, so, Tokugawa, so it's just like, alright, why not include ninjas in that too, and if you're gonna include ninjas in a Shonen Jump series, and if you're friends with Kishi, why not? You know, like, why not? To the point where, though, it's funny, because it's like, alright, we're gonna get Raizo. Remember Raizo before he showed up? We were all thinking what Raizo was gonna be. I remember a lot of people thinking Raizo was going to be a kunoichi, like a sexy, you know, big busted female kunoichi. Was I the only one that thought that? No, I wasn't. I know for a fact I wasn't. There were other people that thought, oh, Raizo's gonna be a sexy female ninja. And we get to Raizo finally, and it's like, well, I mean, He is dead sexy. Let's just say that right out of the gate. The hair, though, I don't know. I don't even know how he manages it. But he does, and we have to respect him just for the fact he manages that hair every morning, okay? But no, we get Raizo, and then we get Shinobu, who is a kunoichi, but it's like, well, in her younger years. So it's sort of like, yeah, it's sort of like Oda's taking the route with it. It's like, I'm gonna give these ninja a little bit of not standard kind of appearance, because I don't know what you were thinking maybe when Raizo first appeared, like what he was going to look like. Maybe you didn't think he was a sexy big busted kunoichi. That's fair. That's fine. But I don't think anybody was expecting this. You know, I don't think anybody was like, oh yeah, that's 100% what he's going to look like, right? So I think Oda's taking it the direction, like, I'm going to give these ninja, at least the ones that are allying with the group, because the Oniwabanshu kind of do look like actual, like, really cool, badass ninja, like, when you think about them, right? Like Fujin and Raijin that wear the cool masks. Okay, Fuku Rokuju, he's based off of the Seven Lucky Gods, so that's why he has a giant forehead, but, you know, and I imagine he's not, like, a primary fighter, Fuku Rokuju. I'm imagining he's a little bit more of just, like, the leader of the organization, right? Like Hanzo and the other ninjas, they look pretty much the same, as you would figure, but when the ones that ally with the Straw Hats, like Raizo and Shinobu and this other ninja dude, they have a little bit more of odd body types, but they're still really badass. You know, that's, I think, the deal what Oda's trying to do here. He's like, oh yeah, Raizo may look short and dumpy, and he might be, you know, it might look like he's hard to move around, and it's really funny when he's running around, but he's still wicked fast. He can clone himself. He can substitute himself for all these different things he can do. He could create smoke screens. Ninja smoke screen! And then he just, like, throws the thing on the ground and creates a smoke screen and all that stuff. Don't screw with him, all right? I'm sure we're gonna get a really cool, badass power, and you know, all the things he could do with ninjutsu in a fight. That's gonna be really cool to see. Also, just because of, I guess, the nature of ninjutsu and how it's taught in Wano, whenever a citizen does in fact eat a devil fruit power, once again, they don't know much about devil fruits. They don't know exactly, like, there's devil fruits all over the world. They don't know they're broken up into, like, Paramecia, Zone, Logia categories. They don't know anything about that. They just know, like, I ate a weird fruit one day, I was no longer able to swim, and now I have some strange magical power. And because ninjutsu is probably the closest thing to, like, magical powers that the citizens of Wano will witness, you know, even if it is something as simple as just, you know, Raizo showing up and, like, you know, making some afterimage clones of himself, even if it's something that simple. I mean, when I say simple, I mean, I'm talking about the context of manga. Like, if somebody did that in real life, you'd be like, what? You know, but no, in manga, that's a pretty basic ability. Just make simple afterimage clones of yourself. But to the people of Wano, they would be like, whoa, that's like borderline magic right there, what you're doing. It's like, no, it's just merely ninjutsu. I'm like, okay, cool. So, you know, like when Kinemon ate the clothes fruit, and I have the ability to create clothing all of a sudden. This must be a magical ninja fruit. I wonder if they actually call them that in Wano. I think the devil fruits are so rare, they don't even have an actual, like, official name in Wano Kuni. You know, because, you know, Kaido ate a fruit, but, you know, Orochi did, but those were under, like, certain circumstances, like, rare circumstances there. We don't know how Kinemon and, not Raizo, Kanjuro and Shinobu came across their fruits. Actually, I don't think that was really explained at all in the Oden flashback yet. I don't think that was ever really stated, like, even as, like, a side thing. Like, oh yeah, Kinemon was 23 and he ate a weird fruit, now he has this power. So that probably came a little later. That probably happened at some point when Oden was out to sea traveling with Whitebeard and Roger. They come back, and at that point, because when they first found Kanjuro, he didn't have the art powers. You know, when they first found Kinemon at age 15 with the Mountain God incident, he didn't have the clothing powers yet. So, yeah, he must have gotten those at some point, and it was just never referenced in the flashback. Shinobu as well, but we have yet to even see Shinobu in the flashback with Oden, so we have no idea when she ate her mature powers, right? So, yeah, those things. But it's probably just so rare that they don't even give them, like, actual names. But if they did give the fruits actual names in the context of Wano Kuni, they would be the magical ninjutsu fruits, and you eat them and you no longer able to swim as like a penance to like, you know, the ninja god or whatever, or you made a pact with the ninja devil, but in exchange with that you get a cool ninja power. So whenever Kinemon activates his clothing powers, puts a rock or something or a leaf on somebody's head, he uses the ninja sign. He doesn't need to do this, it's just maybe he thinks he does. He's like, oh well, this is obviously ninjutsu, so here's a leaf on your head and clothing appear! And the same thing Kanjuro does whenever he draws like a poor, sad crocodile, you know, misshapen crocodile, right, with a head that's like 6 times larger than its poor body. He'll be like, appear, or I summon you, and then, you know, poof, and then it comes to reality. It's more of like a mental exercise that they're doing rather than actual, like, you don't need to do this to activate devil fruit powers. Although, I mean, it would be cool if characters did do that. Like, imagine, like, Sabo before he activates his Fire Fist. He's like, you know, ooh, Fire Style, Fire Fist Jutsu! Like, if Sabo does show up at Wano, I don't think he will because he's kind of in the middle of some other stuff right now at Reverie. But if Sabo were to show up at Wano, Oda, please do that. Just for the sake of, like, Sabo, like, oh, okay, I'm in ninja samurai country land right now. All right, fire style, boom, and then just, yeah, and then that's all it is right there. It's like, if there was ever going to be an arc to directly reference Naruto, this is it. I mean, this is it right here. It has been referenced before, like whenever at Punk Hazard Nami was using her, and it happened again at Wano when Nami was using her Climattact. A lot of people refer to the Climattact as ninjutsu, which, that gives us another interesting hint. If Nami summoning lightning and fire and, you know, wind and all that stuff using her Climattact is something that could be mistaken for ninjutsu, you'd figure there would be a ninjutsu that allows you to do that. At least in a limited capacity. So that's what I'm saying. Watch for Fujin and Raijin specifically with those kind of like elemental ninjutsus kind of deal. Yeah, we've yet to see that in the actual story. We've yet to see Raijin jump out and be like, you know, electrical jutsu, and then shoot out like a wave of like storm release, laser circus. We've yet to see that, but it could probably happen, right? So yeah, but Nami, when, you know, at Punk Hazard, she was doing the ninja signs, like ninja powers, and at Wano, she was using it when she was summoning Zeus, like Thunderbolt technique, you know, so... yeah, the land of ninjas awaits us, ladies and gentlemen. We've been focusing on so much stuff in Wano, especially right now, because we're in this massive flashback arc, which should be wrapping up soon. The next chapter's coming out next week, so we're on our break this week, so it's a little bit of that January lull. But yeah, I'm assuming maybe 1 or 2 more chapters of this flashback, and then we'll finally get to something, you know, where we're like, all right, here's the Oniwabanshu. Here's all of their names. Here's everything they can do. All right, like a proper introduction, so when we get to the final battle, we can actually see what they do. You know, like all right, cool, we got this. Proper introductions all around. Also with that that elite samurai squad that Orochi has. I think they're based off the Shinsengumi. You know, they're like the elite top samurai in Wano that work directly under Orochi. So Orochi has a team of samurai and a team of ninja doing his bidding, okay? I know we're probably not going to go into too much detail with this. This actually sounds like something that more fits an SBS kind of question, like someone sending in a message to Oda-sensei, like, Oda-sensei, what's the deal with ninjutsu? Like, is it just, like Naruto ninjutsu? Like, how does it work? Is there chakra now? Like, how does this work? And I could see Oda maybe being like, yeah, I didn't really have time to explain. Like, Oda doesn't explain this stuff in great detail. He doesn't sit down and explain in great detail how Nukama Kenpo worked, or how does Electro work. Like I guess it's because the minks have fur and they're able to harness static electricity, but it's like, okay, but how, though? You know, like, how exactly? Like, there's a grizzly bear hanging out in my backyard right now. If I walk up to that grizzly bear, is it going to just be able to shock me with its static charges? Probably not, but I'm not going anywhere near that thing, right? Okay. But yeah, so Oda doesn't go into great detail on how these, like, battle styles work or anything. It's like, no, minks control electricity, fishmen and merfolk can control, you know, ocean currents, Ivankov can wink and just level a building. It's manga, it's anime, just go with it. Ninjutsu exists in One Piece, but I would love to just, like, okay, maybe a little bit on how they learn it, or how, like, ninjas are raised in Wano. Like, is there an actual ninja academy? somewhere in the land of Wano? There probably is. Yeah, so right. I just wanted to make this video to kind of like remind everybody that, yeah, when we start getting to see ninja fights, like when we see Shinobu and Raizo team up to fight against the Oniwabanshu, which will probably happen, you know, that pretty much has to happen. When we see that go down and like Hanzo is busting out like Earth-style giant mud wall, like when we see that stuff probably happening, just know it's not a devil fruit, it's just a thing that you could conceivably learn if you're just a normal human in the land of One Piece. So you have to take your route. Like if you could learn any battle style in One Piece, disregarding let's just say, I mean, well, no, humans can learn Fishman karate because Koala learned it. Maybe humans could learn Electro if you're hairy enough, I guess. So if you could learn any battle style in the world of One Piece, Electro, Newkama Kempo, Okama Kempo, Fishman karate, Merman combat, ninjutsu straight up. If the vibration style that Don Chinjiao and Sai know from the Happo Navy, that special vibration power, hockey. If you can learn anything, like any specific battle style, what would it be? Hockey is kind of separate because you can combine that together. It's not mutually exclusive, right? You can combine Electro and hockey. You combine Fishman karate and hockey. Probably ninjutsu and hockey in a concept. So yeah, that's that video. Hope you guys enjoyed. A little bit on the shorter side this time, but ninjutsu, it's cool. Barry, are you using ninjutsu right now? Did you transform? What are you originally, Barry? Okay, no, he's just a brick. It's okay.